Imagine waiting in silence, believing in something the rest of the world has not noticed yet. Imagine choosing to stay when nothing is guaranteed, when views are low, stages are small, and the future feels uncertain. This story does not begin with bright lights or loud applause. It begins with quiet belief. It begins with people refreshing pages late at night, replaying the same videos again and again, not because it was trending, but because it mattered to them. Long before headlines, before awards, before sold-out shows, there were people who decided that this group, SB19, was worth standing behind. That belief slowly became a home. That home became a name, and that name is ATIN. Before we begin, we want to share something important. While our team was researching our SB19 documentary, we discovered something we couldn't ignore. Behind every achievement, every milestone, and every moment of growth, there was ATIN. We realized that making a documentary about SB19 without dedicating a full story to ATIN would be unfair. So we did our best to research and present ATIN's journey from the very beginning until today. If we missed anything important, we truly welcome you to share it in the comments. This video exists because ATIN exists. When people talk about SB19's rise, it's easy to focus on numbers, charts, and awards. But behind every milestone is a community that stayed when staying was difficult. This is the story of ATIN, not as a background detail, but as a living part of SB19's journey. From the beginning until 2026, ATIN grew alongside SB19, learning, struggling, celebrating, and waiting together. SB19 officially debuted in October 2018 with the song Tilalua. It was emotional and sincere, but it didn't break through immediately. At that time, the Philippine pop industry was still finding its modern identity, and idol groups faced hesitation and doubt from the public. Early supporters didn't know what would happen next. They didn't know if SB19 would last another year, but they listened, they shared, they stayed. Even before an official fandom name existed, fans began forming small online spaces. In August 2018, ARM Philippines was created, becoming the earliest organized fanbase. These fans weren't chasing popularity, they were responding to sincerity. When the fandom name ATIN was officially announced in November 2019, it carried meaning beyond branding. Pronounced like 18, it symbolized that fans come before SB19, because 18 comes before 19. At the same time, ATIN means ours in Filipino. It was a quiet statement of shared ownership. SB19 has consistently said their success would not be possible without ATIN, and this was never said lightly. It reflected how closely the group watched their fans grow with them. Over time, writers and cultural observers summarized it simply: there is no SB19 without ATIN. Daily life as an early ATIN wasn't glamorous. It was built on routine and patience. Fans woke up checking for updates. They streamed songs quietly, sometimes letting playlists run through the night. They learned voting systems that were confusing at first, helping each other understand rules and deadlines. Many stayed awake past midnight to trend hashtags, even with school or work the next day. Others supported in quieter ways, leaving comments, sharing links, or defending the group respectfully when doubt appeared online. This routine wasn't about numbers alone. It came from belief. In 2019, everything began to shift with Go Up. When the song was released, the response was modest. Discouragement was real, and the group has openly shared that they once felt close to giving up. Then a dance practice video went viral. What followed wasn't accidental. Fans recognized the moment and moved together. They shared the video repeatedly, explained SB19's story, and invited others to watch without pressure. That viral moment didn't come from nowhere. It came from months of waiting and quiet belief. As SB19 began appearing on charts and television, ATIN grew quickly. With growth came responsibility. Fans understood that attention could fade as fast as it arrived. They chose consistency over noise. By 2020, SB19 entered Billboard's Social 50 chart, reflecting sustained fan engagement, not a single viral spike. ATIN focused on showing up daily, not chasing instant results. The pandemic years tested everyone. Concerts were canceled, opportunities paused. Still, ATIN didn't disappear. Virtual concerts became lifelines. Fans promoted virtual shows, bought tickets during difficult financial moments, and helped others access live streams. When SB19 turned a concert into a charity event for typhoon victims, it reflected the same values ATIN had already shown through donation drives and relief efforts. Support was never limited to the group alone. What made this bond even stronger was that support was never one-sided. SB19 and their management company, 1Z Entertainment, have repeatedly taken part in donation drives to help Filipinos affected by floods and typhoons. In many of these efforts, they worked closely with ATIN, turning fan projects into real-world help for communities in need. These were not just symbolic gestures, they were moments where music, fandom, and responsibility came together. SB19 did not only accept support from their fans, they stood beside them when the country needed help. Waiting became a defining experience. Waiting for recognition, waiting for awards, waiting for respect. Before announcements, fans waited together, reminding each other to stay calm. Sometimes recognition came, sometimes it didn't. Either way, ATIN stayed. They learned that belief didn't depend on immediate reward. By 2021, when SB19 returned to live performances with Back in the Zone, the emotional release was undeniable. Tickets sold out quickly, showing how deeply fans missed live connection. Songs like Mapa and Ikako resonated beyond charts, connecting to moments of family, loss, and gratitude. SB19 noticed this. They responded with warmth, releasing SLMT as a sincere thank you. It wasn't promotional, it was acknowledgement. Overseas ATIN carried a different kind of dedication. Supporting from abroad meant time differences, higher costs, and isolation. Many watched concerts alone at unusual hours, celebrating quietly while their cities slept. They translated interviews, explained cultural references, and introduced SB19 to people unfamiliar with P-pop. For many Filipinos abroad, SB19 became a connection to home, language, and pride. When the Where You At World Tour was announced in 2022, ATIN responded with trust. Shows sold out quickly. Fans organized banners, chants, and small projects at every stop, not as competition, but as care. Overseas ATIN coordinated across continents, helping each other with information, tickets, and encouragement. In 2023, when SB19 launched their own label and released Pagtatag, ATIN understood the weight of independence. It meant risk. Fans responded by supporting without pressure, amplifying releases respectfully, and allowing the group to grow naturally. The success of Gento reflected steady belief, not forced hype. Winning the Billboard Fan Army Face-Off again that year showed global strength, but inside the fandom, sustainability mattered more. Culturally, ATIN represents a modern Filipino fandom shaped by cooperation and responsibility. In a country where community runs deep, ATIN reflects bayanihan in digital form. Supporting SB19 became shared effort, not entitlement. This fandom didn't replace Filipino pop culture, it strengthened it. By 2024 and 2025, as SB19 reached greater international recognition, ATIN waited again, this time to see if success would change the group. What they saw instead was consistency. Gratitude remained constant, not performative. Small moments still mattered. Anniversary messages, quiet jokes, and simple interactions showed that growth hadn't erased closeness. There was balance. SB19 never placed responsibility on ATIN. ATIN never claimed ownership over SB19's success. By this point, ATIN was no longer just a fandom. It had become a community shaped by time, patience, and shared belief. Looking toward 2026, the journey feels less like a race and more like a shared walk. ATIN learned that staying isn't passive, it's informed, patient, and intentional. SB19 showed that gratitude isn't something you say once, it's something you practice. This isn't a story about fans creating success alone. It's a story about partnership, timing, and trust. ATIN stayed when things were quiet. They stayed when things became loud. They stayed not for reward, but because the journey felt worth it. And that shared journey continues. Subscribe to Star Files now so our next video can reach you again. You can also watch our full SB19 documentary, The Rise No One Expected.